Hello and welcome to another episode of me talking to you in my little shed shop. We have some natural light left, so I'm going to try to shoot this really quick, but today we're going to talk about CNCing my big mill and the two designs that I'm coming out with for my new pens. Alright, first order of business. Why am I going to CNC this mill? Well, it's been on my list to do for like a million years, and the reason I'm doing it is I need to be able to cut curves, or circles essentially, out of metal harder than brass. I can cut brass with this machine that you're sitting on right now, which is just my big CNC router. It does a great job of cutting materials it's designed for. It can get by with aluminum and brass. I mean, you can see it's full of aluminum chips. I've been cutting aluminum for parts of this CNC all week on it. If I'm smart, I'll splice in some clips now. But it doesn't hold up very well when it comes to cutting ferrous metals. It just has a weak point. It's not designed to do that. So what we're going to use is a CNC mill. The new pen design basically is going to incorporate some features that I wasn't able to incorporate on the Mark II design. The Mark II design, for instance, has a brass pocket clip. I want to upgrade that pocket clip to stainless steel or titanium, something that's going to have a little bit more spring to it and live a lot longer. I mean, my current one, the first one I ever built that lives in my pocket every day, that I never have when I shoot video, is a brass pocket clip, and I've had no issues with it. But it's not the choice metal for that instance. It's what I was able to use at the time, and going forward I want to make things better, and that's what new designs are all about, right? Revising and making things better. So the new one is going to be well, it'll start with stainless steel, and then it'll probably go to titanium after the fact, just because stainless steel is a little bit easier to machine than titanium. So, all a roundabout way to say that I need a way to automatically cut curves. No matter how much okay, there's enough, but you can't crank the hand wheels precisely enough to cut circles on a mill. Someone will probably chime in saying they can't. I can't, okay? So what I'm going to do is we're going to CNC this machine. So the easy way to go about CNCing this machine, I mean, you could technically make your own stepper mounts and all that jazz. I don't want to put the effort into that. My time is better spent elsewhere. So I went to Haas CNC machine, Haas Geo 704, whatever his tag is. Everyone knows about him. He has tons of plans on how to basically convert these style machines over to CNC driven units. So I purchased a set of plans from him, purchased all the parts I'm going to need, started machining the parts. That's what we did majority of this week. Clips I'll probably be splicing in of me machining and cutting and whatnot. What we're going to end up with is stepper motors attached to this machine. Initially, I was going to run ball screws right off the jump from it, because ball screws are the way to go when you're doing a CNC conversion, but I don't need to, but I want to get up and running, and I want to prove out some concepts before I go about putting ball screws into this thing. And ball screws require a little bit more machining of the actual castings to get everything to fit. So initially what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drive the stock lead screws with stepper motors. That's going to present backlash issues. There's going to be backlash compensation. From what I see, I think I should be able to get around it for just kind of what I need initially to get going and proof out my concepts. From there, once I know that everything is happy and functions as I need it to, we can go ahead and convert this whole mill over to ball screw driven units. But that's an order of magnitude harder, so let's start easy and build from there. So far for this conversion, we basically have a Y-axis block. We have this cool little thing I'll show you in a second, and then we have a nice big plate that's going to mount the motor on the back. So the Z-axis on this machine is driven by obviously this hand wheel, which goes through a 90-degree gear mechanism, which drives the lead screw up and down. What I built, or what the plans call for, is basically this little collet that goes on top of this. It's going to have some set screws around it that's going to let you adjust the runout, and this will spin and it'll drive this whole mechanism. The stepper will be mounted in there, slot back and forth. I got a couple pulleys coming that should be here in the next couple days, and that'll let us drive the Z-axis. The other axes are actually pretty simple, because the other axes are just, we basically have a plate on here that's going to have a stepper standoff. There's going to be a little coupling between here that'll couple to the original lead screw, and you're finished. So with a 3-axis conversion on the CNC, I should be able to do most of what I want to do in plate work. Basically, I'm just going to take plates like this. This is just 1/2-inch aluminum, which I'm making a lot of the adapters for the mill right now. Plate like this, it'll be milled out for fixtures. Blank, basically rough cut fixtures will go on here. For instance, pocket clips, which is one of the main uses that this machine is going to be for. And then the machine will come around and cut all the pocket clips out. You're able to take this whole kind of pallet, if you want to call it, off, put a new one on, and carry on. In other news, I picked up some 316 stainless and some 304 stainless just to try out some parts for the new pen. I've turned stainless on this lathe before, but just to make sure I was still confident with it, I haven't turned stainless on it in probably about a year. So I figured I better make sure that I can still machine it to the tolerances and to the finishes I want. And yeah, it turns no problem at all. I'll insert some video right now because everybody always asks if these small hobby lathes can deal with more real world metals. I mean, most videos you see of people turning aluminum and brass and copper and bronze and fairly easy materials to work on any size machine because they're so soft. Stainless can be a bit more of a bear just because it has a tendency to work harden and it's a little bit more difficult to turn, but I have no issues with this, even with just plain high-speed steel. So that encompasses this video. We got basically the majority of the parts built for the CNC conversion here. I'm just waiting for a couple belts and timing pulleys to come in. They should be here tomorrow. We can get this bolted together, start the wiring. The computer's already sitting there, the Braco board, everything is ready to go. We just start calibrating and then tweaking out all the backlash and whatnot in the lead screws, and then we have a machine that should be able to build slightly more accurate parts than the router, and then it's just a progression, and we go forward and we see what we can do. So that's what I have for this week. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you next week. All right, take care. Bye.